The British ambassador to the U.S. resigned today following a barrage of attacks from the American president. In his resignation letter, the ambassador said, quote, "Since the leak of official documents from this embassy, there has been a great deal of speculation surrounding my position and the duration of my remaining term as ambassador. I want to put an end to that speculation. The current situation is making it impossible for me to carry out my role as I would like." In those leaked documents, the ambassador was quoted as describing the Trump administration as being inept, insecure, and incompetent for good measure. President Trump fired back at the ambassador, blasting him as a pompous fool, wacky, and a stupid guy. In the UK, word of the ambassador's sudden resignation was met with regret by his defenders.
Sir Kim has given a lifetime of service to the United Kingdom, and we owe him an enormous debt of gratitude. Good government depends on public servants being able to give full and frank advice.
We had a fine diplomat who was just doing what he should have been doing, giving a frank assessment, a personal assessment of the political situation in the country that he was posted, and that's why I defended him, and I think we all should.
The New York Times sums up the response from Washington's diplomatic corps with this headline: "It could have been any of us. Disdain for Trump runs among ambassadors." Well, with us tonight are two of our returning favorites, Eugene Robinson, Pulitzer Prize-winning columnist for The Washington Post, and Tim O'Brien, executive editor of Bloomberg Opinion. He also happens to be the author of Trump Nation: The Art of Being the Donald. Eugene, journalists tend to love the phrase chilling effect. But it seems to me this could have exactly that, a chilling effect in the diplomatic corps.
Well, it's certainly going to encourage ambassadors to find even yet more secure ways of sending their cables home and keeping them out of, I guess, the wrong hands. Look, what Kim Darrow wrote about President Trump and his administration could have been and probably was written by 150 other ambassadors posted to Washington, because it's all true. You know, he not to get too deeply into the weeds, but it seems obvious that he was the victim of this bloody battle that's going on in Britain over who's going to be the next prime minister. It's a battle within the Conservative Party. It is shocking to me, as a former London bureau chief, that these cables, which are pretty sacrosanct, pretty sacred, got leaked in this way as part of this fight. That's the state to which British politics has sunk. And the state to which the American political scene has sunk is that the President of the United States declared the ambassador from the United Kingdom essentially persona non grata, which is absolutely unheard of. We used to have the special relationship, and President Trump just basically kicked out the British ambassador and took a swipe at the British prime minister, you know, in the process. It's just extraordinary.
Tim, Eugene's right. First of all, there's a reason we don't call these emails. Cables are supposed to be cables, like the old days sending a telex was supposed to be a secure form of communications. Every day of your life, I imagine several times a day, the Trump you knew, the Trump you sued, the Trump you have written about and covered, another aspect comes to light. What Donald Trump has revealed itself in this story to you?
Well, I think the interesting thing in this one is we still don't know who leaked them. I think there's an assumption that the Boris Johnson side of the equation leaked these to undermine Kim Darrow, to get him out of the way because he was anti-Brexit. That's one explanation. The other explanation is that Boris Johnson was probably going to take him out of the picture anyway if he became prime minister. I think there's a possibility that people in the Derek camp leaked this stuff because they wanted it known how this government felt about what a loose cannon the president is. Trump can't be surprised to be hearing this. Everything that Kim Darrow said has been said about Trump since he was president, that he's unreliable, that the White House is run chaotically, that they're not strategic thinkers. There's nothing new in any of that.
And Trump doesn't seem to care about the Atlantic Alliance.
He doesn't care about alliances at all. He thinks, he always has looked at the world in a zero-sum game. You eat or you get eaten. And you don't think beyond the need to just protect your short-term interests. So he's not someone who thinks long-term to begin with. I think what's unfortunate in this scenario is you have the two beacons of Western democracy being run by unhinged and unscrupulous people at a time when they're both needed on the national stage, international stage.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.